You're listening to AI Prism from Seoul Economic Daily.
3 numbers before the open. Japan's bank stocks are up roughly 5 times since 2022, on buybacks alone. China's hottest robot IPO just lost 46% of its value in a week. And the Fed's favorite inflation gauge just came in hotter than expected. Here's what all 3 mean for your portfolio today. It's Wednesday, August 26th. Here's what today's story could mean for the Korean market. Shareholder returns became the defining theme of the Korean market this year, with mandatory share cancellation rules and new dividend tax breaks reshaping how companies return cash. Meanwhile, China's chip and robotics IPO boom hit a wall this week, as Unitree's stock cratered after a blowout debut, and fresh U.S. inflation data added uncertainty ahead of next month's Fed decision. For KOSPI and KOSDAQ traders, both threads point to the same question: which numbers actually support today's prices, and which don't? Here's what the numbers show. Korean-listed companies decided a combined 43.2 trillion won in cash dividends in the first half, about 85% of all of last year's total, while share cancellations hit 21.4 trillion won last year, 4 times the level 2 years earlier. Japan's megabanks, including Mitsubishi UFJ and Sumitomo Mitsui, ramped up buybacks and dividends starting in 2022, and the Topix Bank Index has since climbed roughly 5-fold. NTT kept buying back shares and raised its dividend for 16 straight years, yet its stock rose only about 7.5% this year, trailing the Topix's 20.6% gain because telecom growth stalled. YMTC filed for a Shanghai IPO seeking 33 billion yuan, about 6.9 trillion won, aiming to overtake Samsung Electronics and SK Hynix as the world's top NAND maker by next year. Unitree's stock hit a first-day high 629% above its IPO price, then fell 46% over the next week, as investors questioned real-world revenue, which made up only about 9% of its humanoid robot sales. U.S. July PCE inflation came in at 3.7% year-on-year, just above the 3.6% forecast, keeping pressure on the Fed ahead of this week's Jackson Hole meeting. So what does this mean for traders watching the Korean market today? Earlier, we said Japan's bank stocks show what real buyback-driven gains look like, while NTT shows what happens without earnings growth behind them. Here's what that actually means for you. Watch Korean sectors where buybacks are paired with rising profits, not just cancellation headlines, since SK Securities data show semiconductors carry the highest earnings momentum score, even with the lowest dividend payout ratio among major sectors. Also, watch this week's Jackson Hole comments and any further pullback in Unitree-linked robotics names, since both could swing foreign flows into KOSPI. That's today's AI Prism, Stock Investors. This episode was produced with AI assistance based on Seoul Economic Daily reporting and reviewed by a human editor. AI Prism is a WAN IFRA award-winning series. We'll be back tomorrow.
You've been listening to AI Prism from Seoul Economic Daily.